Good afternoon, a very warm welcome to Namur as we get ready for the Men's Elite World Cup Cyclo-cross, the fourth edition of this race this season. We started in Vegas, we moved to Valkenburg, we're now in, we moved to Koksijde, we're now in Namur, in Wallon, in Belgium, as we get ready to bring you this fantastic race. 78 riders will take to the start line today. There's the pits area, always busy. And here's the course. 2.5 kilometers in length. Goes out of the start, straight uphill to the castle at the top. Loops around, very technical. If you watch the women's race, then you'll know exactly what this course is like. Some very, very fast drop-offs. A little bit muddy, not as muddy as it has been in the past here. Lovely conditions, 12 degrees centigrade, a little bit of light wind. The sun is has been out, it's starting to fade a little bit. We're at 3 o'clock in the afternoon now here in Belgium, and this is this technical, very difficult section, adverse camber, where the fans line to try and see the riders make their way across. Well, there's the World Cup standings. Wout van Aert is the leader of this World Cup with 220 points, 5 points ahead of Sven Nys. Lars van der Haar is in third, Kevin Pauwels in fourth, Laurens Sweeck in fifth, and Tara Markats in sixth place. There's quite a lot of interesting headgear around here today. There's the start list then as we run through it. Mathieu van der Poel wears number 1 as the world champion. Lars van der Haar, the European champion, wearing number 2. The Belgian squad, as always, loads of Belgian riders in this field today. Tom Meusen, Sven Nys, also the Swiss team here with Julien Tara Markats wearing number 25. He's riding well in this World Cup. United States with Travis Livermon, Robert Marion, Martin Haring of the Slovakian team. There's the Canadians. The French have a great squad with Francis Moret, who of course has won here in 2013. For Australian fans, Gary Milburn is here. New Zealanders Angus Edmond is also in the lineup. Great Britain Ian Field and Paul Oldham will take to the start line today for the British team. Previous winners then of this cross, as we look here at Tom Meusen. It's been a World Cup since 2011. There's Sven Nys as he gets ready for today's race start. There's the leader of the World Cup, Wout van Aert, who won yesterday in the Cyclo-cross. Alongside him, Lars van der Haar, who won in Valkenburg. He beat Van Aert that day. There's Pauwels, who was the World Cup winner of last season. He also was the winner here as well. Mathieu van der Poel. A lot of concentration on these riders' faces. That was Laurens Sweeck. And here is the American rider. The American champion, Jeremy Powers, is the last rider to make up the starting grid here. On the cobbles, and the same as the women, flat out uphill to the top of the Citadel for the race start. Mathieu van der Poel. 30 seconds then to the cavalry charge as they go off the start line. The red lights are on both sides of the gantry, as you can see. The minute they go to green, then this race is underway. It is a furious race start to the top of this climb. They've had to warm up and be ready. There is Pauwels looking concentrated. All eyes are on the lights right now. And we're about to get underway. The fans cheering these riders off the start then. Van der Poel trying to get a good start. Laurens Sweeck has had a very good start in the red, white and blue. Wout van Aert also. And it looked to me like Sven Nys has had a very good start as well. And considering he's up against the young riders who would normally expect to go off the start line with a very good start, Sven Nys and that luminous bike has had a very, very good start to this race. Val Slaven wearing number 50 goes off the start line as well. What will happen when things go over the top, down the first drop-off? Well, what a start by Sven Nys. He's going to be very happy with that. Corne van Kessel in second, Wout van Aert in the white in third. Behind them, Mayusen, Laurens Sweeck in the red, white and blue, Lars van der Haar. A little bit further back, wearing number 15-7 is Clement Venturini in the colours of the Cofidis team as Sven Nys goes round the corner, round the adverse camber and is already away. Well, you'll notice here, if you take a look at Sven Nys very closely, he had his leg warmers on until just before the race start, I noticed. And also, he's riding cantilever brakes on the bike. He went out just before the race started, did a lap of the course on a bike. He switched to this bike. And he now looks pretty comfortable. Right, so I had to talk to him before the start. He obviously didn't ride here in Namur last year. He was a bit fatigued. He chose not to take to the start. He's riding a Reno front tyre, a normal tyre on the back. He decided during the warm-up to ride a Reno on the front and a normal tyre file tread on the back. He said it was drier than usual, and he decided that it was probably the best tyre combination he could go with. And by the looks of things, it's been the perfect combination. He looks very, very confident. I talked to him about Coxeder, where we, of course, had that amazing race, where we had that final drag race between him and Van Aert on the final lap. And he said it was so good to beat Van Aert, where he's so strong, and also in his final season to take his 50th World Cup a win. So Sven Nys leads on this luminous Trek bike as he attacks his way through the pits area. Corne van Kessel in second place, Wout van Aert in the white colours as the World Cup leader as they go downhill fast. The crowd now has built considerably, and Sven Nys is the leader of this World Cup. Van Aert, Mayusen just behind is Van der Haar. And a few little gaps. Francis Moret in the colours of FDJ goes through the picture. Great camera angle at the bottom of that drop-off. Sven Nys in a slightly bigger gear than everyone sets the tempo at the front. And the problem these youngsters now have is that Sven Nys has always had a problem that he can't start when they go flying off the start and they accelerate hard, a little bit like a climber does in the Tour de France compared to other riders who like to ride a tempo. If they go flat out at the start and they attack him hard, he really, really struggles. But when he's able to get out, warm up, go off the start like this, then all these other riders have to worry really badly because he'll make them make mistakes. And he can now dictate the tempo through this rutted section. He's right at the top there, keeping the tempo going. Now he's able to ride before anyone else is, and he can start to put everyone under some pressure. The other news this week then about Sven Nys is that he's joining up with Galazzo, who are an events organisation company here in Belgium. They're actually the organisers of this World Cup. They organise a lot of cyclo-cross races and sportif Gran Fondo type events. And between Galazzo and Sven Nys, they have bought the Telenet Fidea cyclo-cross team. And Sven will be the sports manager organising the training camps, the races and all that. So he makes the transition from being a professional bike rider into being a sports manager. And very humbly, he said to me earlier, I've got an awful lot to learn, but it's a great project to be part of. as he kicks his way, morale sky high, up the top of this climb, and the only rider able to go with him right now. He did say to me, you've never been able to ride this run-up before, but you can today. And that's why he chose to ride the Reno tyre on the front and the normal on the back. And the only rider who's able to go with him right now is the World Cup leader, Wout van Aert. Look at this for an acceleration. Sheer power, great technical ability, and he's putting all the riders in all sorts of trouble behind him. The two leaders, if you're just joining us, Sven Nys and Wout van Aert, are the two leaders of this World Cup. Daylight back to number 4 there, Corne van Kessel. And tracking him is Tom Meusen, Laurens Sweeck, Mathieu van der Poel. Number 57 there, the Cofidis rider, Clement Venturini. And Sven Nys looking around just to see what sort of damage he's been doing. He looks really composed today as he makes his way through the throng of crowd. Doesn't look bothered at all, does he? Wout van Aert looks a little bit more like he's in a little bit more pain. Tom Meusen in 3rd. And the previous rounds of Namur, Kevin Powles was the winner last year. Van der Haar was 2nd, Valsleben was 3rd. Murray was the winner in 2013. Van Toornout was in 2nd, and Niels Alber was in 3rd. Sven Nys last won this in 2011 as he crosses the line to complete lap number 1. The lap time 6 minutes 52, an average speed of 22.08 kilometers an hour. Wout van Aert 2nd, Tom Meusen 3rd, Corne van Kessel 4th, Venturini 5th, Van der Haar in 6th, Toornout in 7th, Laurens Sweeck in 8th, the world champion Mathieu van der Poel in 9th, and Stan Godry in 10th place so far. There's Clement Venturini in the red and white of Cofidis. Laurens Sweeck having to haul the bike a little bit towards the top of the climb. And just behind, wearing number 15, Michael van Toornout. And also up there is Kevin Powles. Lars van der Haar moves his way into 3rd place. Don't forget you can join me on Twitter if you would like to. @AntMcCrossan is the place where you can message me if you'd like to ask any questions about today's racing. Hello to Justin Bowes, nice to join you this afternoon. Thanks for watching. As we see Sven Nys leading on this little turn. Lars van der Haar had a little bit of a crash yesterday in the Cyclo-cross. He popped his shoulder out. He got hit by a car as well a few weeks ago. So he's just trying to recover from all those little injuries and niggles, but he's doing well. 3rd place now. Unusually, if you're trying to pick Lars van der Haar out, he's in 3rd place there. He's in the blue and white. And if you're wondering why he's not riding Giant Alpecin kit, it's because he's now the European champion. And the European Champions kit now must be worn at world level in the discipline that you are the European champion in, which is why Lars van der Haar is now in blue as opposed to being in the black and white of the Giant Alpecin team. Round the corner, Wout van Aert leads, Sven Nys in 2nd, van der Haar in 3rd, and then the rest of the riders queuing up behind. Sven Nys has that kind of pedalling style today of a rider who is not under any pressure whatsoever. He's able to ride at his own tempo. And I must admit, we're having a talk in here earlier on as the beers are out in the hospitality area. And because I was having a chat to him beforehand, a couple of people asked me, does he seem like he's on good morale today? And I would say that Sven Nys is right on the top of his morale. He seems very calm, composed, and he looked very, very ready for today's race. And a little attack going on now. There's Tunerts now, who tries to stretch the race a little bit. All these spectators paying 15 euros to come into the watch today's cyclocross. We're in the Walloon area. Namur is the capital of the Walloon area of Belgium, so it doesn't get as big a following as cyclocross that we get in other areas of Belgium, but still a few thousand people are here enjoying today's race as we go down the drop-off. Amazing the different Mathieu van der Poel choosing to go to the right-hand side to try and loop his way around that bottom left-hander and put himself in a better position. Number 17, Tunerts, is the leader, the Belgian rider from Telenet Fedea. 22 years of age, 12th in the World Cup at the moment. So difficult, isn't it, this little section? You've just got to keep the bike moving, keep tapping the pedal. And Sven Nys decides he's going to run. Tunerts is the leader then. A little bit of daylight. Back to these riders. Number 5 there is Stan Gaudry of the Rabobank development team. Lovely camera shot here, isn't it? Look, you can see the tyres sliding as you go around there. And Tunerts over the top of the climb. Wout van Aert, Sven Nys, Tom Meusen, Venturini, Van der Haar. Behind Van der Haar is Michael Van Turenhout. Behind him, Mathieu van der Poel. This crowd loving seeing Sven Nys at the front of yet another World Cup. 3rd place now. It just looks like he's measured. Look at the speed of the way he's able to go up this run-up. He did say to me beforehand, I've never been able to ride up that run-up before. And it's helping him so much because he's able to just come back, close the gap on the leaders. Oh, a lovely bit of cornering there. Oh, look at the way Wout van Aert went round that corner. Right hand, right leg, right out, and leant the bike right over. Tunerts is the leader. Wout van Aert in 2nd. Sven Nys behind him. Talking to Ian Field, the British rider beforehand, rides for Hargrove Cycles. He was saying he's chosen to ride Baby Limus tyres today. So he was just trying to choose between Typhoons and Baby Limus tyres. He chose to ride the Baby Limus at the last minute. Just thought it was on the borderline between the Typhoons and those, so he chose to go with a safer option. He actually said that he starts down the field, which means he needs to have a little bit more grip because the race is getting cut up so much. So the little group of riders then together. Mathieu van der Poel is still there. Raymond Semple, thanks very much for your message. Lovely to have you join us this afternoon for today's World Cup Cyclocross. We get to the end of lap 2, 7 to go. 6:57, about 5 seconds slower that time. 21.84 kilometers an hour. And Tunerts has just set the fastest lap time of second fastest lap time, 6:57, 21.83. He's now 5 seconds ahead of Wout van Aert. And Sven Nys moves and is in 4th. Michael Van Turenhout in 5th. Mathieu van der Poel now in 6th, but only 6 seconds down. Sven Nys looks like he's dropped back just a little bit now. Oh, problem there for number 4. And that's Van Kessel. I don't know what's happened to him here, but he's not looking happy. And he hasn't got a puncture. Well, Corner Van Kessel retires. I don't know if he's had something he doesn't feel inside that's right, or he was riding really well before, but Van Kessel's gone, so Day over for him. Just to update you on some other places then, the top Czech rider is Michael Boros, who's in 10th place. Julian Taramarkat is down in 17th. That's not good for him in terms of the overall standings. Fans of the United States of America, Stephen Hyde is 32nd. Jeremy Powers is 34th. Fans of Ian Field of Great Britain, 31st right now. Canadian rider Severin Sagerser is 38th right now in terms of the standings. And Michael Vandenham 48th. John Gadray a long way down, the Movistar rider, surprisingly. But that gives you an idea of some of the other riders. Toonets, just actually, he did set the fastest lap time. 6:49 was that last lap for Toonets. Thies van Amerongen is the second fastest lap time in a 6:51.6. And Sven Nys is the third fastest lap time in 6:52.5 as they go out on this flatter section. So, George, thanks very much for your message. I hope we've updated you on where the American riders are. God, the crowds are going pretty mental, aren't they? Tonet is up at the front of this race. There he is. Just a little bit of an advantage on Venturini. Venturini with Wout van Aert in the white colours, and he is the rider from the Golden Palace team. I wonder whether Sven's tyre choice has been the right one for him. He's still tracking well. It's an amazing, amazing start by him. Oh, a problem here. And this is Michael van Turenhout. It looks like he's got a broken chain. You can see it wrapped around the bottom of the bike there. Yep, there we go. Broken chain. And he's now got to get himself back to the pits, and he's in a wrong place to get there. It's going to be very, very difficult for him to get to the pits. He's going to be out of this race pretty much. On this little section then, some riders choosing to ride, some riders are having to run. That was Thies van Amerongen. Paul Oldham right now of Great Britain is down in 60th place. Ian Field around about the top 30 right now for the fans of the British riders. A few people have started asking some questions about Lars Boom. Where is he? Lars Boom was supposed to be riding today. The crowd through this area is incredible. The leader then. Look at Sven Nys. Still riding this section, and it is paying dividends for him every single time, because when he goes over the top, he's got that momentum to get himself back. So Tonat goes round that corner. I'm loving the way that these riders are riding this right-hander. There is Sven Nys. Look at this. Just pure power he's using to get to the top of that climb. Yeah, a few of you were asking about Lars Boom. Michael's one of them in particular. Where is Lars Boom? He was supposed to be riding today in today's World Cup Cyclo-cross. The Astana road professional, of course. He chose not to ride today. He's been a bit sick after a training camp. We're expecting to see him back for Zolder, which of course will be a course that suits him. And then maybe then if he feels good, he'll ride the World Championships, which are on Zolder yet again. And that flat, fast course could suit Lars Boom very well indeed. Kind of settled down now, hasn't it? Little lead group. Wout van Aert there in the white. Ton Aerts in second place, just having a bike change. Sven Nys. Lars van der Haar there in the blue. We're picking him out quite easily now in the... Kevin Powell's are just... Oops, Lars van der Haar. That was an unusual bike change. Coming round then, a lead group. Things have calmed it down a little bit. A slow lap. That was I think around about a 7:12, 7:11, something like that. And if you're wondering who the rider on the front is right now, because you've not seen him before, he is Michael Boros. He's a Czech rider. Rides for the same team, the BKCP team, as the world champion. Van der Poel, of course, had that knee injury, and he returned for Coxader. So he's done an amazing, amazing recovery to come back and ride in the front group. Michael Boros leading this World Cup. Wout van Aert. Behind him, Mathieu van der Poel. Behind him, Venturini. Behind him is Ton Aerts. Lars van der Haar. Behind van der Haar, Kevin Powell, the winner of this race last year, ahead of van der Haar and Val Slaben, who, it seems, Sven Nys looking down at the back of that bike. I don't know if Sven's got a back wheel puncture. He suddenly looked down. Just keep an eye on that back tyre. It's very possible, because he's drifting away a little bit off the back of this race. Just looking to see what, whether he's chosen to switch back onto the disc brakes. He had cantilever bike brakes on at the start. And he's still on the cantilever brakes right now. Wearing number 13, not chosen to turn it upside down like a few people do with their little bit of superstition about the number 13. But Michael Boros now is the leader as he tracks his way downhill. This is a very fast little section. Comes down the bottom of the Citadel and then it goes fast along the top. You twist and turn, then you go fast downhill yet again. So Wout van Aert just tracking in second place, and Mathieu van der Poel. These two riders, of course, were on the podium last year in the under-23 race, and then they chose to switch to be elite riders for the World Championships. Sven still looks very composed and calm. He doesn't look like he's worrying at all. Julian Thrasher, you're right. I've never seen this Namur course so dry. And Jason, thank you for your message. Yep, you have to go in the same direction to the pits. So our rider we saw with a snap chain, because he turned round then, he will retire. He won't be back in the race at all. He'll be race over. And the next World Cup, of course, is in Zolder on Boxing Day on the 26th. As we go through this really crammed area with the fans cheering Sven Nys on in that luminous bike. So the positions right now, those of you who are fans of Stephen Hyde of the United States, he's 27th right now. Jeremy Powers is 33rd. Jean Gadret, the Movistar rider from France, 44th. Travis Livermore of the United States is 45th. Michael van den Ham, 47th. Paul Oldham, 57th. And I can't find out where Ian Field is right now for some reason. He seems to have disappeared off the off our leaderboard. But the minute I locate him, I will let you know. Ian Field then 29th is his current standing. in this World Cup. Thanks for all your messages on Twitter. @AntMcCrossan is where you can join me for the afternoon. Looks like we're going to be riding, I think, 9 laps by the looks of things, as Lars van der Haar now decides to go to the front of the race. Van der Haar won in Valkenburg, the second round of the race, the series. Sven Nys won in Koksijde. He's still in with a shadow, winning this one. It's interesting he's taken over the Telenet Fidea team with Galazzo, who are the organisers of this Namur World Cup. It'll be an incredible setup if Sven has anything to do with it. Right now, if you go to the centre of the track and you go to Sven's camper and everything, he has a huge camper van, he has his mechanics, one of the biggest areas, and his camper van, actually the sides come out to make it even bigger inside. Just shows the sort of setup that he has with all his merchandise. You see so many people walking around these World Cups with Sven Nys merchandise, the signature tops and the jackets and everything that he sells. The crowd love him. His 50th World Cup win in Koksijde. He has a record that is just absolutely incredible. Lars van der Haar leading round that corner. Michael Boros, Wout van Aert, Mathieu van der Poel, and then the rest of the riders tracking to try and come back. Sven Nys's bike just brightening up the afternoon. The crowd love just seeing the way these riders ride. They just cheer them on, go nuts pretty much. Gary Milburn of Australia is tracking right now in the top 50, top 60 riders, 65th right now for Gary Milburn. Mark McConnell is a couple of places behind that in 66th for Canada, for anyone who's a fan of the Canadian riders. And the little effort of Tonnet is now starting to hurt him a little. He looks like he's in all sorts of pain. Number 9, Klaas van Tonhoek, the Belgian champion, is right on the back of this group as we come round to complete lap number 4. And it's Wout van Aert who is the leader. A 6:58 lap that time, so the third fastest lap time of the race. And now the attack happens, and Lars van der Haar has decided that he wants to try and rip this race up a little bit. So the answer to the question from Andrew Roche, how long is it going to be before the attack? Well, they've started now. Lars van der Haar doesn't want this race to stay together. Did a lot of road riding towards the end of the... Oh, and he crashes on that corner just when he was in the lead. And that's fallen on the derailleur side of the bike as well. He slams the handlebars. Unusual mistake there from Lars. A little bit, he took the wet line round that corner. And now he's got to hope the bike is okay. I think we'll see him go into the pits. Just let the bike just slip away from him round that corner. And if Lucy Garner's watching, she will be not too happy with that little crash. But he looks like he's back up and running quite okay. Oh, he's having a few issues now around these couple of little corners. Normally, technically, so good. Lars van der Haar still the leader. Wout van Aert, Mathieu van der Poel looks very comfortable. Van der Poel doesn't look like he is putting himself under any pressure right now. What Van der Poel will be doing, I'm pretty sure, is just nursing this knee, making sure that he gets to the end of the race, and then he can try and attack if he's in a winning position. Van der Haar, Wout van Aert, Mathieu van der Poel. You'll notice Van der Poel not at the moment on his World Championship camouflage bike. He's on his normal camouflage machine. This is Stevens' bike. His dad, Adrie van der Poel, such a legend of cyclocross and road racing, is in the pits with him today. He was setting his bike up for him earlier on. As you look down in the pits area, so busy. Sven Nys just tracking along at the back. He'll just get a few more laps under his belt before he tries to attack. His fan club are at the bottom of this drop-off. Lars van der Haar just trying to put the other riders under a little bit of pressure right now as Sven goes riding through that section. Van der Haar trying to kick on a little bit, trying to get rid of a few riders if he can. Just trying to use that punchy style that he has to get rid of a few riders. And while Sven has only just hit the bottom of that run-up, Van der Haar's already at the bottom of the next drop-off. But Sven will let the attacks go, and then he'll try and bring them back. He'll just let the youngsters do what they need to do. Oops, oh, that was a big crash. Well, it wasn't too bad in the end. It could have been a lot worse for Sascha Weber, riding for the Champion System team. Oh, Tonnert's having a few problems there, almost going right to the side. And one rider looked there like he was retiring. That might have been Javier Ruiz, who was retired. Also retired Michael van Toordenhout, David van der Poel, Jens Adams, Corne van Kessel have all retired. Paul Oldham, the Hope Factory racing rider, is now in 55th place for Great Britain. As the attacks happen again. And this is a dangerous one, because you do not let this guy go. Wout van Aert has decided it's time to stretch this race, and the only rider who's able to go with him is Wout van Aert, and somehow Lars van der Haar is just walking his way up this climb. That was unusual for him, maybe just having a few issues. An interesting question for, in comparison to a rider in the top 30, say, compared to the leaders, how they are tracking. Well, their lap times are around about 30 seconds, anything from 30 seconds to maybe 34, 35 seconds slower per lap than the leaders, which means they're dropping away all the time. So I'll give you an idea. The American rider Stephen Hyde, his opening lap time is 31 seconds slower. His second lap time is 29 seconds slower. And then he kind of stabilized. So the next lap was 6 seconds. Another lap was another 20-odd seconds. So they're losing bits of time all the way around the route compared to the leaders. And to be honest, Wout van Aert is incredible right now. Robert Marion, they've just lapped, the American rider with a big beard. Wout van Aert then looks around, and the only rider who's able to go with him is Kevin Powles. Venturini there is in 4th, and they have really bashed this group up now. Lars van der Haar choosing not to go to the pits. but doesn't look, he looks like he's playing a little bit of a defensive game now. 4 laps of racing left in today's World Cup. Wout van Aert, the leader. That was a 6:53 lap. And now Lars van der Haar, Sven Nys are looking for someone else to take on the chasing because 3 riders have now gone clear. Mathieu van der Poel in second place. Kevin Pauwels, the winner last year, looking a lot better in today's race. Kevin Pauwels beat van der Haar last year. Val Slaben was third. And this little group of riders kind of cancelling each other out a little bit as Wout van Aert goes through the corner that van der Haar crashed on. Van der Poel, Kevin Pauwels, and these 3 riders going clear at the front of the race. 4 laps of racing remain. Interesting question about whether there are a limit on the number of bike changes you can have during a race. No, not at all. You can have as many bike changes as you want. And these 3 riders look to be going clear now of the rest of the field. Fastest lap is still Ton Aert, who did a 6:49 lap on lap number 2. Ties van Amerongen has done a 6:51.6. Sven Nys a 6:52.5, which was on lap number 1. Wout van Aert a 6:52. Klaas Vantenut a 6:52 as well. It looks like these 3 riders combining at the front of the race now are starting to work their way clear of the rest of the chasers. This little group, Vantenut, Nys, Boros. So yesterday in Cyclo-cross, it was Wout van Aert who won. Lars van der Haar took 3rd place, put his shoulder out, he said. And in recent times in Spa, in the Super Prestige, it was Wout van Aert who won ahead of Sven Nys and Kevin Pauwels. And in Mol, just a couple of weeks ago, it was Van Aert who won, Van der Poel 2nd, Laurens Sweeck was in 3rd place. But this little group of 4 riders trying now to come back to the leaders if they can. Well, these 3 riders are starting to go clear. Venturini in no man's land now, the 22-year-old rider for Cofidis. He's been the world champion of the juniors, of course, Clement Venturini. And the first time we've really seen him towards the front of a World Cup cyclocross race like this. So he's obviously starting to feel like he's getting stronger. Takes a little bit of time sometimes for these riders to be able to switch across. And there is Venturini, just keeping the pedals moving, or the bike moving along by just stabbing that foot into the grass and looking to try and get his feet back into the pedals as quick as he possibly can. It's so tiring, this race. Really does take everything out of you because there's so much climbing, some fast descents. The mud is not as thick as it usually is, so therefore the course is fast. And we're looking at lap times of 22 kilometers an hour as the fastest lap time. As Wout van Aert then shoulders the bike. A little bit of a stumble as he went uphill there. And Mathieu van der Poel in second. Can he pull off this big win here in this World Cup, which would show and signal his return to form after that knee surgery that he had before Koksijde. Venturini in fourth place, tracking well. A lot of French speakers in this region, so they will be cheering him on. And Van der Poel just trying to hold the wheel of Wout van Aert. I was talking to Beat Wabel, who's one of the technical advisors to this World Cup, who's of course previously been such a fantastic cyclocross rider. I was asking him about Wout van Aert, and he said the only rider right now who can stay with Van Aert most of the time is Mathieu van der Poel. Kevin Powell's not doing a bad job of it right now, though, to stay in the race. Now Van Aert leads across the top. Kevin Powell looks very, very comfortable. Powell, of course, has won the World Cup last season. We haven't seen the best of him so far. We've not seen him on the podium in this World Cup at all. As Van der Poel just pedals through, he'll wait until these riders have a bike change and then he'll slow himself back into the wheels. Intelligent riding by Van der Poel, not exerting himself at all yet. He's got that camouflage bike with a little World Championship stripes on it as they come round yet again to complete another lap. 3 laps of racing to go. And the lap time, 6:57, a little bit of a slower lap, 21.84 kilometers an hour. And Lars van der Haar looking for a bit of assistance from Michael Boros. This could be his best position in a World Cup for Boros. But if they're going to bring these 3 riders back, they're going to have to start to ride soon. Because right now, the work rate of these 3 guys at the front is high and the tempo is extremely high. Van der Haar then crosses the line, 38 seconds down at the end of that lap. In fact, let's just double check how far down it is. Yep, 38 seconds. Venturini is fourth, 18 seconds back on the leaders. He's now reaching the top of the climb. It looked like a little bit of a problem there for Tim Merlier, the rider at the back of that little trio. Well, yesterday Wout van Aert just rode away from everyone in Cyclo-cross, but today he's not able to do that. Partly do you wonder whether he is just holding something back and riding a tempo and then he'll attack everybody. It's really difficult to tell right now. It doesn't look, does it, flat out. It looks fast, but it doesn't look like it is absolutely on the limit right now as Van Aert goes down this drop-off. There is the Belgian champion. Lars van der Haar, though, the European champion, has attacked that little group again. And Sven Nys goes round the corner. The World Cup so far then, Van Aert's the leader, 220 points. Sven Nys in second, 215. Lars van der Haar in third with 200. Powell's not defending his championship yet. He's 161. Laurens Sweeck and then Tara Markats. There's 80 points for the win today. 75 for second, 65 for third. So Van Aert could extend his advantage unless Sven Nys comes back to the front. The story of the lap times then, so far, the opening lap time 6:52, then 6:57, 7:12, a slow third lap, 6:58, 6:53, 6:57. Venturini trying to work his way back now to the front of this race, but he's getting there, but it's not happening too quickly. He's just having to measure his effort a little bit. Van der Poel on the front. And it's a really interesting race now between this trio, but if they mess around, Venturini is coming back, and he's coming back a lot quicker now. Former junior world champion, down that drop-off. Van der Poel leading a little bit now. Just trying to, he'll wonder when he decides to attack Van Aert. Kevin Pauwels, I think, will do nothing here. He'll just wait. He'll let the youngsters tussle and play, and then he'll decide to use his expertise and experience to try and outwit them on the run-in to the finish. Van der Poel then, a little rutted at the top. That knee, he's got to be under a lot of pressure when he's doing that. Admire the tenacity of Mathieu van der Poel. And Venturini doing a good ride here. Van der Haar trying to come back here to the front of the race. Maybe he's left it a little bit too late. Van der Poel still looking comfortable. Sven Nys, that initial surge up that first climb may have cost him here. He was right at the front of the race, which none of us expected. We expected to see the youngsters at the top of that climb first, but Sven Nys, I think, could be in the red zone. The crowd going wild as they see Wout van Aert in second place with Mathieu van der Poel, the world champion, leading this World Cup. Kevin Pauwels just going to the right-hand side of them, using the run-up nicely to get himself back into the wheels of these two youngsters. He's got something caught on his shoe, as you can see. A little bit of netting on the shoe of Kevin Pauwels. He'll be hoping that doesn't go into the chain. Oh, Van der Poel leaning right over there. Lovely to see. Venturini then over the top wearing number 57. And Van der Haar now is on a little bit of a move to try and come back to the leaders. Thanks for all your messages on Twitter. Very much appreciated. At Ant McCrossan is where you can join me on Twitter. And we will be bringing you, of course, coverage of the World Cups in the new year. And I'm very pleased that Simon Burney will be joining me for the World Championships. Sat down and had a good chat to him last night when we got here to Namur. All the preparations going on then for the World Championships will be in Zolder. I hear that the course has slightly changed to that we're used to in the World Cup. So it'll give us a little bit of an extra loop around the back of the circuit. Kevin Pauwels finally gets that little bit of netting off the shoe, looking down just to check that everything is okay. If you're just joining us then, we have got 3 or 2.5 laps of racing to go. There's the replay of Kevin Pauwels realising he's got that netting in his shoe. And we're coming up to complete another lap. 2 laps of racing to go. Wout van Aert is the leader. Mathieu van der Poel. Following him, Kevin Pauwels. And that lap time, was a 7:13. The slowest lap we've seen so far. Venturini is only around about 12 seconds down. And behind him, Van der Haar now is going to be around about 20 seconds. 21, in fact, exactly the same as he was last time. So whilst he looks like he's on a little bit of a charge, he is not coming back, as now we see an attack of Mathieu van der Poel, a massive attack at the top of the Citadel, and Wout van Aert's got to try and react. Sven Nys, though, I think the heart rate is right at the top level after that first big surge up to the top of the Citadel. And Sven Nys is now going to be in 8th place overall. What damage has Mathieu van der Poel done? He's going downhill now. He made a mistake yesterday in the Cyclo-cross. He doesn't want to make another mistake today. That gave Wout van Aert the win yesterday in that cross. But van der Poel now, after this knee surgery, is trying to go away. He hasn't won a World Cup so far this season because he's only ridden one of them. Sven Nys now, explosion time, I think. Yeah, he's had it. Disappointed to see. He looks so good in the early laps. Thanks for the message, Cotswold Veldryan. Will we get another World Cup in Milton Keynes or in the UK? I'm sure we'll get another one in the UK. Whether it comes to Milton Keynes, I'm not sure. That's one I'll have to ask Simon Burney, who, of course, was the organiser of the World Cup in Milton Keynes. Just to update you then on some other places, because I know there's a few of you want to know where are the top nationalities. Doesn't matter if you're watching and you're just supporters of Switzerland or Belgium or the Netherlands or whatever. We'll try and give you some updates as Wout van Aert's come back now to the front of the race. He takes the lead. Julian Taramarkats is 9th for Switzerland. Thies van Amerongen is the third Dutch rider in 11th place. Michael Boros, the Czech Republic rider, now down in 12th. Simon Zahner of Switzerland is in the top 25. Stephen Hyde of the United States is 26th now. Jeremy Powers is 29th. Ian Field is in 33rd place. The Hargrove Cycles rider from Great Britain. And just a few other nationalities. Nicolas Samparisi of Italy is 54th place right now. Gary Milburn of Australia is 67th. And in terms of a couple of other nationalities, let's just mention Fredrik Haraldseth from Norway, 69th place at the moment. So still running. There is a time limit in this race, which means you can be removed from the race. So he's still up and running and he's still competitive as these three riders tussle over the top and go down the drop-off. How steep are these drop-offs? They're very, very steep indeed. I reckon more than 10%, maybe 8%, something like that. Really steep, and especially on the mud. Very difficult. Thank you to Arjan Bolding for your message. And thank you to all of you for your messages on Twitter this afternoon. The three leaders then: Mathieu van der Poel, the world champion; Wout van Aert, the World Cup leader; Kevin Pauwels, the World Cup winner of last season. Going clear. We're in our final couple of laps of this World Cup, and it's still anybody's race as van der Poel now stretches it yet again. The top places then: Wout van Aert, van der Poel, Pauwels, Venturini, Lars van der Haar, Klaas van Toornhout, Ton Aert, Sven Nys, Tim Merlier and Julian Taramarkats are the top 10 riders in this race so far. 80 points for the winner. The beers have been flowing all afternoon. The crowd has just been getting bigger and bigger, and the atmosphere is pretty electric here in Namur. A lovely day for a cyclocross. Live TV, big crowds, the week before Christmas. It doesn't get better. These riders are enjoying a fantastic time to be riding cyclocross at world level. Start money in the Super Prestige races and other races. Good prize money. Oh, Wout van Aert, absolutely perfect round that corner. Just almost grazing his shoulder as he went round the right-hand turn. Venturini's now been caught by Lars van der Haar. And the Belgian champion, it's also there. So Venturini starting to fade. Who is going to win this one? Do you get the feeling Kevin Pauwels is back on form and is just tracking and waiting to pounce? He's won this race before. He knows exactly how to do it. He won it in 2014 and in 2012. Francis Moraes disappeared. He was the winner in 13, and Sven Nys was the winner in 2011. They're just looking around at each other now. They know that Kevin Pauwels is dangerous. Hat-trick of wins could be coming his way in this Namur cyclocross. This is the time in the season when Kevin Pauwels normally starts to change. He gets right on form. That last lap was 7:13, the slowest lap of the race. Previous to that was 7:12, and I think van der Haar's coming back. And if van der Haar gets himself to the front of this race, one lap of racing to go. Kevin Pauwels on the front, Wout van Aert, Mathieu van der Poel with the necklace just dangling away there. 7:09 for that lap. It was the third slowest time. Lars van der Haar now trying to give this a little bit of throttle. He's shaking his head because the reason why is he knows he's going to get no help whatsoever from the rider behind. The reason for that is because he's a teammate of Kevin Pauwels, who's now on the front and attacking the two youngsters. Kevin Pauwels just trying to find out what they've got. Sven Nys is still running. He looks like he was going to retire, but he's decided to keep going. Because to be fair, Sven, he's still in the 8th place. There's still points on offer here. "20 seconds back to Lars van der Haar right now. Can he find a little bit more to get back to the front of the race? Right, your predictions on Twitter, @AntMcCrossan. Who's going to win this race this afternoon? Kevin Pauwels, the older rider of this trio, tracking in front of these two riders. Number 25 there in the red, Julian Tauramarkat, 6th in the World Cup. It's going to hurt his overall standing. Thanks to Bart van Alst. You think this is quite good. I'm glad you're enjoying it. And hello to all the team at Eden Veranda Racing. Thanks for your messages as well. Good to see you tuning in. Right, we'll turn our attention. Who's going to win then, everyone? Is it going to be in the red and yellow? Kevin Pauwels, the World Cup winner, the winner of this race last year, twice winner of this race. Will it be Wout van Aert, who is the man on form right now, super strong in all the races? Or will Mathieu van der Poel there in the colours of the world champion win his first World Cup of 2015-16 season and give himself a knee-strengthening, morale-boosting win? It's getting close then. So they're going to track their way through here. Kevin Pauwels is leading. He's decided he wants to just try and soften their legs up a little bit. He's had the race dictated to. Wout van Aert, who lost to Sven Nys last time. You remember that fantastic final run. Wout van Aert had the puncture, and now Mathieu van der Poel is looking for some way of getting to the front. They're going to go shoulder to shoulder down this drop-off. Van der Poel goes into the lead. He wants to try and accelerate. Just turns left. Now, Pauwels is right on the wheel. Wout van Aert looking like he is still comfortable. And Van der Poel has the lead. Kevin Pauwels sitting in second on that little single track. And now Wout van Aert decides to go to the other side of the track, and he now goes to the leads. He's going to use his power. Van der Poel doesn't have the response immediately. And they go right now, side to side. Kevin Pauwels letting the youngsters spar each other. Spectacular racing. And Pauwels lose a few bike lengths. He doesn't want to do that. Do not let Mathieu van der Poel and Wout van Aert take a few lengths on you. Van der Poel just looking down. He hasn't even looked at Wout van Aert. He comes almost to a standstill round that little turn. The tactical little games are being played. Now they go to the right-hand side, right to the top. Doesn't want to make a mistake here. Van der Poel trying to find a little bit of an edge so he can accelerate hard out of this adverse camber. This is the awful little bit of track that categorizes this Namur course. They've lost Kevin Powles there. He's lost a few little bike lengths. That could cost him. Now they're going to go down around this camber section. Van der Poel slings it round there onto the shoulder. Uphill now. Still, I think it's between these two right now. Kevin Powles has got to fight his way back onto the wheel. Being urged on by these fans as now Powles does find the front of the race yet again. Mathieu van der Poel testing all the time. Just another little acceleration from the world champion as he tries now to hit this run up. And he's going to try and ride it. He doesn't manage to do that. So he goes on to the top. See ya. Wout van Aert digging deep. Van der Poel's already on the bike. Kevin Powles just labouring a little bit over the top. Van der Poel testing all the time. Down this drop-off. Oh, he's right on the limit. Round that corner. He looks back as he turns right. They've lost Kevin Powles a little bit. What a thrilling finish this is going to be. Are we going to have yet another sprint finish in a World Cup? Last time it was Sven Nys and Van Aert so far this season. Van Aert won in Vegas. He was in second place in Valkenburg, second place in Koksijde. Now he tests out Mathieu van der Poel. Wout van Aert stretching this race a little bit more acceleration from the youngster as these two riders who've been all the way through their careers in the juniors and the under-23s been neck and neck. It's still any one of them. Stephen Cartmel says it's Wout to win. Cycling watercolours say Van der Poel for the win. And now Van der Poel accelerates a huge attack as he leaves behind Wout van Aert. You can see Adrie van der Poel and the rest of the pit crew urging on Mathieu van der Poel. He's tried now to get rid of Wout van Aert round this corner. Here he goes. A big sprint now. Mathieu van der Poel. Wout van Aert is on the drops trying to come back to him. It is going to be a win for the world champion. Oh, Mathieu van der Poel wins in Namur. What a fantastic final lap. Wout van Aert in second. Kevin Powles is in third place. That was a thrilling final lap. Mathieu van der Poel's final lap, 6 minutes, 31 seconds. 21 seconds faster than any other lap. Into the finish then. Klaas van Toornout will be in fourth place. A shake of their heads, doesn't quite get on the podium, the Belgian champion. He finishes 41 seconds down. Lars van der Haar then, the European champion, in fifth. Shakes his head. Sixth place will be Tonert. Clement Venturini, a good performance by him in seventh, and Sven Nys will finish in eighth place after that initial first lap show of superpower. It came back and bit him later. Sven Nys then the winner in Koksijde in his final season. He'll have to wait for 51. Julian Talamarcats then comes round the corner. Looks like he's managed to save a little bit of surge for later. So he comes in ninth. Ties van Amerongen in 10th. Tim Merlier in 11th. Michael Boros, who was an early leader, crosses the line now in 12th place. Round the corner then for number 12, Lawrence Sveek. Wipes his face. He was up there in the lead earlier on. Lawrence Sveek, 5th in the World Cup at the moment. And Tom Meusen in the early stages was up there, but faded away. He's going to finish 14th. He'll be around about 2.5 minutes down, 2:45. Steve Chanel finishing now. 15th place for him. And we'll bring in the rest of the riders until we get ready for the podium presentation of today's World Cup. Stan Gaudry finishes, but look at this for that final turn. Perfectly executed by Van der Poel. A great attack. Look how much this meant. That little bit of knee surgery. Oh, an emotional young man here. When you think and you get knee trouble and you're the world champion, it means everything to be able to come back like this. He's had to work so hard to recover from that knee surgery. Finally, all the hard work pays off. It's a little bit loud out here. There's our result, the unofficial result for today. Mathieu van der Poel wins in 1 hour, 2 minutes 43. Wout van Aert in second place, Kevin Pauwels in third. There's the rundown of the top 10, with last time's winner Sven Nys in 8th. And here's the top 20 riders. Michael Boros of the Czech Republic in 12th. A lot of Belgians there in the top 20. Stan Gaudry of the Netherlands in 20th place. Caught a glimpse there of John Gadry, the Movistar rider, going round the corner on the way to the finish line. Thank you to all of you for your messages on Twitter. Haven't been able to mention all of you, but very much appreciated for you to take the time to tweet in and ask questions and get involved in what was another thrilling race. If you ever get the chance, come here to Namur. It's a good place to come and watch the cyclocross because you're able to get around the circuit. You can see exactly what's going on. As you can see, there's some great vantage points. You fly into to Brussels and it's 40 minutes away. Simon Burney, who's my co-commentator of the Worlds, he just drove here. It was 3 hours after you come across on the Eurotunnel from Great Britain. If you want to come and watch anywhere else in the world, fly into Brussels or just drive, come and watch. It's a great place to see a cyclocross and a nice little town to spend some time in. That was the moment of the big attack just before the pits. A huge attack by Mathieu van der Poel, which put him clear. Wout van Aert, then all he was worried about was could he hold on to his second place to Kevin Pauwels. Van Aert will still be the leader of the World Cup, but the world champion is now back. And meanwhile, it's time for the kids to have a go. Go on, you can get there. That's it, get out. Here we go. Right, let's take a look back at the highlights of today's race. The start, the surprise was Sven Nys leading at the top of this climb. Normally you'd expect to see the youngsters surge. He really rode well in these early sections. Maybe paid for it a little bit later. At this point in the race though, Van der Poel was having to work his way through the field, and then eventually with Van der Haar going on the attack, Van der Poel managed to find the front of the race and was starting to look like he was in with a chance. Van der Haar had this crash after he went on the attack. That kind of shattered his motivation a little bit. Van der Poel rode a clever race. He was always in the mix. Once he got to the front, he just made sure that he rode steady and he rode in the right places, and then he made his attacks where he had to. A good ride by Kevin Powles in third place there. Twice the former winner of this race. Sven Nys shaking his head. Day over for him, but he eventually finished in 8th place overall. On the final lap, Van der Poel tried his hand a couple of times, but when the attack had to happen, he executed it absolutely perfectly. Testing Van Aert all the time in the final laps, just trying to see whether he had anything left, softening him up. Van Aert tried in the single track areas, trying to use his power and strength to go clear of Mathieu van der Poel. But the moves happened, and the big attack of the world champion gave him his first World Cup win of the year. And it's left for the mechanics to make sure that these bikes are looked after and sparklingly clean to go back in the trucks for the end of the afternoon, and everyone waits for the podium. The World Cup moves to Heusden-Zolder on the 26th of December. We'll have live coverage of that as well, so don't miss out. In the meantime, Santa Claus will have arrived. Let's hear now from today's winner.
Mathieu van der Poel, many congratulations. Did you surprise yourself today?
Yes, I did, especially after yesterday. It was already really tough, and Wout was the strongest by far. And today I just followed the lead of Wout, and I felt good, but I hadn't had the legs to win, I thought. But then the last lap I was growing in the race, and when I made the most technical part, when I went first there, I knew that I made a chance, but he was still in the wheel. And then the final sprint was, yeah, that are the duels that you are training for.
Die ogen van jou, die beelden moet je zeker eens terugzien. Die spuugde vuur, dat hebben we nooit gezien. Zo blij was je.
Ja, het was enorm blij. Zoals ik zei, dit is toch wel een van mijn mooiste overwinningen, denk ik. Zeker na de blessureleed dat ik heb meegemaakt. Overijssen was al heel mooi, maar dit was toch nog iets heel anders. En dit spreekt meer tot de verbeelding bij de mensen, denk ik. En om zo'n duel te winnen tegen twee van die toppers, dat is hetgeen wat ik het voor doe. En dat is hetgeen waarvoor dat ik ben gaan crossen.
Je bent ontzettend diep gegaan en je lag daar minutenlang op de grond, 1,20 meter voorbij de streep.
Ja, ik was echt volledig kapot. Ik ging eigenlijk, toen Wout ging zitten, heb ik ook even gaan zitten. Toen ben ik recht gaan staan, terwijl ik het eigenlijk niet eens kon zelf. En toen zat tot mijn verbazing nog redelijk achter en ik draaide de laatste bocht en ik zag dat ik gewoon had. Maar ik heb eigenlijk, ik zat al over mijn limiet toen ik Wout terug voorbij reed voor de schuine kant. En na de meet ging het nog redelijk totdat ik ging zitten. Trouwde ik even weg. Ik ben ontzettend diep geweest en ik weet niet of dat ik al ooit zo diep ben geweest.
Dankjewel, nog eens proficiat.
A very happy young rider. All that hard work has paid off. The rehabilitation of that knee surgery was giving him so much pain. Oh, he's a great rider. He always takes the time to talk to you before the race starts. He'll tell you what he's riding, what his tyre pressures are. He'll tell you how his week's gone. He's a great rider to have here as a world champion at such a young age. We're ready now for the podium presentation, so don't go away as we crown the winner of today's World Cup. The fourth round here in Namur. We saw the first round go to Wout van Aert in Vegas. The organizer of Cross Vegas is here with us this weekend. It's great to see him here. In Valkenburg it was Lars van der Haar who took the victory. In Koksijde it was Sven Nys. And today we get yet another winner. The same way as the Women's World Cup has gone. 4 rounds, 4 different winners.
Et voilà, mesdames et messieurs, le moment est venu de fêter la cérémonie protocolaire de conclusion de cette magnifique journée.
These two riders just reflecting on the race, how it went. And the recovery drinks going on board now to try and get the legs feeling good by tomorrow, so they can have an easier day and then get back into training ahead of Zolder.
Cérémonie protocolaire de la Coupe du Monde Cyclo-cross de l'Union cycliste internationale en ce 20 décembre 2015 à Namur. Quelle épreuve est-ce que nous avons vécu aujourd'hui? La plus belle de toute la saison, sans aucun doute, mesdames et messieurs, chez les élites, où termine à la 3e place, sous vos applaudissements, Kevin Powles.
In third place today then, Kevin Powles. He's extremely popular with this crowd.
À la 2e place, nous saluons tout aussi chaleureusement, mesdames et messieurs, Wout van Aert.
Wout van Aert, the winner of the second place here, as he goes onto the podium, the leader of the World Cup, the winner, of course, of one round of this World Cup so far in Vegas. Consistent as always, that's 3 second places in a row. But the winner today, the world champion, Mathieu van der Poel.
Femke tout d'abord, puis Monsieur Podium et Champ des Sports qui remet le trophée de la ville de Namur. Ensuite, Chari qui fait remettre le trophée au 2e.
Van der Poel third in Koksijde. Now on the top step of the podium.
Et puis également Anne qui ont fait de même le trophée du 3e pour Kevin Powles. Voilà.
There's our podium today then, Kevin Powles, Wout van Aert, Mathieu van der Poel.
C'est tout méritoirement qu'ils reçoivent vos applaudissements, mesdames et messieurs. Et je vais demander
An impressive win
les édiles sur
by
le
Mathieu
podium.
van der Poel.
Au début, nous saluons Eric Adam, représentant la ville de Namur. Christophe Impens, manager de sport de Colazzo, qui a donc signé pour cette organisation. Avec,
Last night we were talking about his defence of his world title and whether he'd recovered from this injury that he's had. So this tells us the story that this World Championship now, with another few weeks to go, is going to be pretty open.
Monsieur Thierry Maréchal, voilà les coureurs qui quittent le podium, mais seulement pour un petit instant, parce que nous allons rappeler le leader de la Coupe du Monde.
So we're going to move to Zolder, and we are going to get ready for the next round of the World Cup.
C'est Monsieur Tom Van Damme.
The World Cup leader is Wout van Aert. He retains that jersey.
Wout van Aert qui mène au classement général avec 290 points. 290 points, c'est déjà tout un chiffre, et qui est bien parti pour s'adjuger ce titre de vainqueur.
The leader of the World Cup remains Wout van Aert. Thank you very much to all of you for joining us for today's World Cup Cyclo-cross. Join us on the 26th for Zolder. Goodbye for now.
Mesdames et messieurs, au nom de mon collègue